Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. I am Vinny, along with Kim, as always, and we are here to talk about the multiple-time Emmy Award-winning web soap, The Bay. Kim, how are you today?
Doing all right, Vinny. Just, was trying to make sure that we were... I went in and did a recap of the episode that we are supposed to cover.
Yeah.
As opposed to when we kind of lapsed into talking about two episodes, in
Right.
one show. Which, hey, we're still having a conversation about it because both episodes were great, but now we can just it was nice just being able to focusing in on just the one now, so I can kind of take that one apart, dissect it a little.
Kind of conflated Xander, Reagan, and Frankie in their actions in both episodes into one. So that's kind of what happened. I did put it in the show notes for last week's episode, but we'll talk about it again today and just kind of briefly touch on it.
Exactly. But hey, we were still chatting about the Bay. It wasn't like we got completely off base and just lost into some crazy, we were still chatting about our show. So
you are exactly right.
All things considered, we did a good job.
No, you're right. I mentioned it on last week's show that I found out that Anthony Bowens, who's an AEW wrestler, is actually in season 10 of The Bay. I put a tweet out about it, and he actually reposted it because it's actually pretty cool to think of. I'm going to work to try to get him on an episode of of Dockside to talk to him, because whenever I see a wrestling and soap opera crossover, I want to try to, harness that conversion of the two worlds.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm going to try to put my feelers out there and see what we can do about getting him on. I don't watch AEW, so it's, not like I'm a fan of his wrestling work, but if he's doing stuff with the Bay, then I'm
no, we definitely got to, see if we can, have a good chat with him. That would be a really interesting, conversation. Yeah. Just intersection, worlds colliding in a very cool way.
You're exactly right. But folks, I do want to go ahead, of course, and always mention that we are running a promotion for all of 2026, in that we want to give away a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt every month for 2026. And the way to enter is to send us a super chat, a super thanks, or a super sticker. Any of those will give you an entry. You could be $1.99 if you want. It helps to support the network, but also goes ahead and enters you to win a shirt. So you could do it as many times as you want per month. We are doing this every month for 2026. And so it's a win-win situation. You support our network and help us continue to give you the style of entertainment that we do, help us bring you interviews and more on-location events, like going down to Samantha's Friends events. And also, you can win yourself a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. So go ahead, send us a super chat, a super thanks, or a super sticker. The button is right below you. As you're watching the feed, there's a box with a $sign in it. That's how you send us the super. So definitely help us out and win yourself a t-shirt, possibly win yourself a t-shirt all month, all year long. Okay. So we are going to be talking about season 7, episode 12. It's called The Voyage. Yes. Last week, I like I said earlier, we conflated Xander, Reagan, and Frankie, and what they've done, in the episodes into one. Well, in episode 11, they simply walked around the city of San Juan.
Yes.
And it was kind of like their tour guide telling them what they're eating and bringing them down to different streets.
Right. They were just kind of exploring the city at that point. It was pre-Xander telling them, hey, let's go and check out the deserted beach because, top of this episode, they're at the deserted beach.
Correct. So that's where we pick up with those three, the team scenes, so to speak, for the Bay. Xander, Reagan, and Frankie are at that deserted beach. And, of course, Reagan is the level-headed one, and she's, worried that, something might happen because, Pete said that Puerto Rico is dangerous and to get back to Bay City.
Mhm.
And they're asking why he would say that if it's not. And Xander's like, nah, it's okay. But then they hear a gunshot, and they look around, really Scooby Doo style, around the mountain. And Xander comes out with one of the greatest one-liners that I heard.
Well, there was a line that I loved from him. It's daytime. What could possibly go wrong?
Of course, blatant foreshadow.
When they were on the, I'm just like, oh, that was punny. That was clever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to see, after the kids witness the target practice that's taking place with Silver and with Logan, correct?
Yeah.
That's yes, Logan. Yeah, not my people. Not my people. Immediately, Xander just launches it, but they, even despite, being terrified of, obviously seeing, these crazy looking individuals, kind of wild looking, chick with the, Silver with the dreadlocks and this guy wielding a weapon. They still managed to identify Logan from the sketch as Sarah's shooter, which, good eyes, very observant.
Yeah, very, very good eyes and very good memory on Reagan, because she's the one that kind of said it, and then they looked again, and Reagan and Frankie both confirmed it.
Yep. Yep. And then, but we cut to like you said, they're a little Scooby-Doo-ish. I thought the moment when they you realized that they're underneath the tarp and that they snuck onto the truck, like just very, and they're like looking at each other like, why did we do this? Why did we decide to do this? But it's nice seeing, just this younger generation really able to just drive kind of a funny plot point, but also like it's driving the story. There's some comedic, elements to it, but it's just nice seeing that generation getting like more than just, randomly insert kid here. It's like they get to actually do some stuff and drive the plot forward, which I thought was really like refreshing.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good for that, because they did drive the plot forward, but also like they got the answer that everybody was looking for. So, they're under the tarp in the truck, and then the truck comes to a stop, and they get out, and then immediately they're met with a guy wielding a gun ready to shoot them. Yeah,
like it really, the action doesn't let up. And you got poor Xander just immediately, trying to communicate with this man and just telling him like, easy cowboy, easy. We're not here to hurt, do anything. We were in the wrong spot, and trying to protect the girls. I mean, Xander in hero mode. You go, kid. He did a great job.
Yeah, just saying, oh, we're just playing around, no harm. And it's a good thing he spoke Spanish, because I guarantee you, if it was just Reagan and Frankie and they only spoke English, they would have been killed.
Yeah, no, a bunch of English, just tourists in the wrong place, wrong. That compound is pretty heavily guarded, thanks to Adam and his goons and his whole situation, and he would not want just some kids wandering in and screwing everything up. So yeah, that could have been a very, very scary situation, but the kids managed to escape. Again, kind of Scooby-Doo-ish, just like, cut and run and get out of there, get out of harm's way. And we were treated to, though, a lot of really great scenes with Uncle Pete.
Yes, we were. And that's where they head off to. They run back to that deserted beach. Luckily, they kind of remembered where they went and the directions they took while they were in the tarp. And they were close enough to
when they were on the beach too. Once they returned to it, they just they start beating on, just hitting at Xander, just being like, "What are you doing? Like, why did we do this? What were you thinking?" And then Frankie was still in like the mode like, "I'm gonna kill him," and then Reagan was just like, "Wait until after we get out of here. Wait until after." Like even in kind of a dramatic, scary moment, they still managed to bring in a little humor, a little fun in that, and great.
That's how the teen age group is. Like
it felt very natural and fun. Didn't feel like it was just forced or anything. It felt like a natural interaction. They got a good rapport. Just the actors, like the kids and everything like that. It worked. I thought the scenes worked really well. When on the beach, and then when they eventually do get to the police station and just kind of relay everything that they saw to Pete and the all the adults in the room.
Right.
and they're all like, impressed for good reason. I mean, these kids, found a huge break in the case for them.
Oh yeah.
Which,
And before we get to how they, let Pete and everybody know about what happened, I do want to take a moment and just address, just give RJ some kudos because, for as young as he is, because we see the scene where Pete's talking to Cordero and, Caleb is kind of sitting on the bench, he's getting the flashbacks of what's happened at their wedding.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the first time that we saw that sequence from the shooting? In that black and white moment, like them like hiding under the table and like ducking with like the drinks.
I believe so.
I think the first time we saw like that clip, which just made it all more just eerie and disturbing because it was such a quick sequence of like, them showing like the New Year's episode. I felt like that was just something, different, but very chilling to watch.
Oh, absolutely. Completely chilling. And it just kind of puts you into the mindset, into the feelings of Caleb, because he was just remembering his wedding.
I mean, recently, we have to keep that in mind. This is all like so fresh. It happened just
like a week ago.
And he's obviously just reliving it in that moment, and it was just so heart-wrenching to see it. But you just have him so bereft, and then you have RJ though, who, in all of his, he's like just so reassuring and sweet, and just very supportive in that moment to Caleb.
And he does tell Caleb, like, listen, Daniel's not going to go down without a fight.
Right.
Like, know that, and he's just there, and he sits down, he puts his arm around him. He's just very comforting. And, I have to say the RJ character has, I want to say the RJ character has more depth and layers to it than almost anybody else on the show. And it's because we've seen so many different characteristics from him, whether it's from, the activists of Black Lives Matter or, as a nurse showing empathy to, the patients that he helps, to now wanting to be there for his family. And then, the flirtatious side. And then now just, he's all in. It's
really nice to see him fleshed out, given the fact that, because obviously, Marley's his mother, and Marley was like, pretty, prominent character, but factored out of the show fairly. I mean, she was very early on. And when we see RJ, I mean, he's a little guy, but he was like right in the action from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And obviously, soap opera rapid aging, they bump up his age and they make him, full blown. But, keeping that character on canvas just to show like that, the Garrett connection through Marley and, just in with his father as well, keeping that history sense in place and just showing the different facets of this character and just really kind of, letting him show his Garrett side, show his, different. They've done a great job, and the actor who plays him does like a really good job. It's just that translating, we still see him in kind of like that kid sort of younger sort of mode, but also just knowing like, I got to step it up and be there for the family. And at the end of the day, that he's going to be there for his family and everything. And it's a very fleshed out, layered character. And it's really nice.
It really is. And I'm really excited to continue to see, like, we know that Pete is the lead character, the main hero of the show. But I like seeing the evolution of a character like RJ from this kid that comes back, doesn't really feel his place in the world, or because he's black, it's, a different, or he's mixed race, but, he's darker skinned. So they had to go there with the BLM. And then,
having, with the family struggles too, because, he is a Garrett at the end of the day. He does have a certain amount of privilege, and, but he has like goals and plans, and obviously, staying in the medical field and things like that. It's just, there's a lot to the guy. And it's
really
just, seeing that development and seeing him just kind of buddy, in that sort of role that Daniel was playing in previous seasons with Pete, where he's kind of like his go-to guy and helping him out and working through, on the big adventure. It's nice that he was kind of put into that position.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so before we get to the kids actually getting to the adults to give them their tip and their news,
Right.
I do want to let everybody know that Suds and Squared Circle Media is an official affiliate of WWE Shop. So if you want some great merch and to help the show out and help support us, I can tell you exactly where to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Suds and Squared Circle Media is an official affiliate of WWE Shop. If you want to buy stuff for the new AAA Mega Champion and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio, or the classic Stone Cold Steve Austin with his Austin 316 merchandise, or merch for Raw is War, SmackDown, or any other WWE show, just go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code for our affiliate link. You can either go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code on the screen, and you'll be taken to WWE Shop using our affiliate link. And anything you buy using our affiliate link, we earn commission.
All right, folks. So maybe Pete and Caleb and RJ can get some Shield gear, or
Three Musketeers.
Yes. All right. So let's move on. We do see finally Reagan, Frankie, and Xander getting to the police department,
Right.
Or wherever they're stationed, their command center, so to speak, and they do give the tip to Pete and Cordero about where.
And they highlight too, just to keep the story straight and everything, and the history, the family connection that Cordero Castro, who's the detective that they're working with, related to Xander. So they establish like the familial connection, and they establish which just I've always said how the Bay is really, really good about introducing new characters and layering them in and bringing in family. It doesn't feel like it's out of left field. The fact that this detective is connected to this kid in town who's we've got it just it's soapy and it's refreshing versus just bringing in some rando who isn't connected. We have that sense of just folks that know each other and are related and family, and it just kind of it enriches the characters by so much, especially Cordero, because we get the scene with him and Pete, I thought was just so well done and just very and we can
Cordero asks Pete directly, is your cousin's husband gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? And the fun part is, and of course it goes back to Soapy, in that the connection from Cordero to Bay City is that he used to be a Bay City detective and then moved to Puerto Rico. So at least he knows he knows the Garretts. He knows the family. And he was recommended by Nardo.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of wondered when we do have that scene with him and Pete where, because he obviously doesn't want Pete to go through what he endured, because he says, I've lost someone dear to me, and I know what that feels like, and I don't want you experiencing that or Caleb experiencing that. And we hear about the love of his life, the woman that he was involved with, and they had a romantic, private love affair, his words. But this woman, took her life, and it was an accident. I was kind of, waiting though for them to reveal, oh yeah, no, she's actually still in Bay City. Oh, she's so-and-so. And not necessarily that she'd taken her life, but that she was a character that was on canvas or something that was still around. But they made it clear that obviously and nobody's dead on a soap, but still they did make it clear though that obviously, she was gone. But I was kind of waiting to see if they were going to try and play that card and have him be linked romantically to someone back in, but moved to Puerto Rico, maybe because their relationship had issues or something like that. Just based on the way that he was talking about that love story. But they chose not to go there, obviously.
which is fine. It gives it kind of like a sense of legitimacy for the show.
Right.
Being that it's a soap opera, and soap operas, the genre is generally taken with a grain of salt because of, I mean, hell, we went through it with how many times we went through it like twice in the past 6 months with General Hospital, past year, with two people coming back from the dead that were seemingly dead. They had their, funerals on screen. Yep. So it's like, but then it's like,
yeah, I know that Days has some stuff in the works that, hell, I, hear them talking about Stefano DiMera again. And I'm just like, okay, I thought that guy was, like, there's no escaping. I mean, it's a trope and we're going to see it, no matter what, but, yeah. No, with this, they've just kind of established the fact that, no, this man was, involved with someone, lost someone, knows how it feels, and doesn't want to see these love stories that he's, witnessing with Pete and Viv and with Caleb and Daniel. He doesn't want to see them meet that tragic fate. And it was just a very sweet scene, but it lets us learn a lot about Cordero too.
Yes.
This detective. We just, and I like the character a lot. It's like he's a cool, savvy guy, and I want to, see more of him as a result.
Yeah. And then you know what? I've given it to Gregory Martin because he casted the character of Cordero very well. You can tell he's a hardened detective, and kind of has that grizzled look to him where he's, he had
been through a lot.
Yeah, he'd been through a lot. He was doing a lot in Bay City. Ended up going to Paradise, to a lesser known crime area, just to kind of relax a little bit.
Ardo started a little bit because he comes back into the picture really, with Sarah's trial and everything like that, and we kind of learned a little bit more about his. It was kind of reminding me of that a little bit, just kind of a seamless introduction, and just it worked. It worked really well, and those were some really good scenes, with him and with Pete, and him just trying to like reassure him, like, we're doing everything we can. We're going to track down like every lead and follow up on this and make sure that everything is going to be okay. And then we get to see, Pete kind of translate, his worry into, being protective of his nieces and protective of his family, which also really, really great scenes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if Pete's not anything, if Pete is anything, he's loyal for his family and protective over his family.
Yeah.
And, he's now got the ammunition to go rescue Vivian and Daniel and Tamara and and he's going to do it.
Yeah, he's in it, and he just kept on stressing though to Reagan and to just the girls, just making sure, and Xander, just, you guys got to make sure that the cop stays with you, make sure that you're staying safe. I really appreciate everything you've done, but at the end of the day, he knows that they need to be protected and looked after, despite But I him saying just how brave they were and established, like because they were. I mean, those kids. Those medals.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So.
All right. So I'm gonna take a quick detour over to Adam's camp, because we do get that really great scene where Adam goes into the the cell, so to speak, that Daniel is being held, and Daniel's just sitting there, naked,
looking all disheveled, but in his tux that he was forced into wearing, forced into.
Oh, that's right. He was in his tux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we see, obviously we see Adam, all decked out in his, little, all ready for the big day and all of this, and his having to remind Daniel that they're cousins too.
Yeah.
Because technically they are, but just again with the unsettling just vibes that you get from Adam, just very,
and again, I have to give it to Christos for being able to portray both the characters that are such completely opposite of each other.
For sure.
And the way that he plays Adam, you're right. It's very unsettling, very creepy, very
Yeah.
like there's just
Does-
something there.
He isn't like the villain that comes in and spouts off and then leaves. He has to like get up close and personal with him, and he has
Yes.
to get all up in his face and very just intimate. And it's just like, ugh, like leave the man alone. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, it's just, yeah, no, just very, very disturbing.
Very. But they do have, you know, a pretty good conversation, and
Mhm.
you know, it's just Adam is just kind of I guess in his own way trying to put Daniel at ease.
Yeah. You know, just keeps on calling him cousin, and you know,
Yep.
remind him like, hey, we're family. You're my best cousin. You know, like it's similar to Silver and Vivian's interaction.
Yes.
When, you know, she's trying to be all like, well, I'm your bet, you know, under the guise of the wedding, they're just trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm your, you know, maid of honor. So you can like, you know, chat with me and we can be, you know, they're all adopting that weird attitude when, you know, obviously this wedding is, you know, not a wedding and it's just a hostage situation that's gone completely amok. But yeah, just make, you know, all the villains just find ways to just make the scenes, just give them that extra like edge of creepiness, or you know, just too familiar and too just
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have that vibe going.
They do.
But I mean, we did have it where Logan, I thought it was kind of a comedic sort of thing when with Logan crashing in on Adam's conversation with Daniel, and did, you know, oh yeah, like, you know, he was all like proud about his target practice or whatever, and then, but Adam's all, did I ask you to do that? And then he's like, well, I brought you champagne, and he holds up the champagne bottle, just trying to make it seem like, oh, that's all I was doing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't up to anything, you know. It's just, yeah, you know, for all his creepiness and weirdness and disturbing, you know, nature, you know, Logan has some comedic little interjections.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just a couple of comedic interludes that kind of breaks up the tension of the season of the segment.
Right. Sure.
But then we do end up going back to Bay City,
Yes.
because Evan is still in the hospital. He's still wanting to get stuff accomplished.
Feels like he's been in that hospital bed, and it has not been that long in Bay City, but it feels like he has been in that bed perpetually, like the entire.
It's been a week, maybe, not even.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
time.
But I in the span of the season, it's like the poor man. It's like he hasn't gotten bed.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with Sarah. She's been in a coma for this entire time. Like, I mean, I was thinking about it, and for season 3 and season 7, just poor Sarah. Like, they probably could have just filmed all of her shots, her, you know, when she was kidnapped and in the coma, like filmed all of her segments in one day and just interspliced it.
Well,
you know, because she might have had space.
This season was kind of like around like 2022-ish, like when it debuted and everything. And, you know, that period of time on days, Kayla was, you know, in presumed dead because soap trope, and like lying back in like this pod thing, you know, getting like nursed back to health.
That was Beyond Salem Part 2.
No, it wasn't Beyond Salem. No, Beyond Salem is when she goes and rescues Steve from like being brainwashed. She and Marlena go and they rescue John and Steve from being brainwashed by Megan Hathaway.
That was Beyond Salem, right?
I think it was second season.
Well, the second season is when Steve Burton arrived.
Right. Yes. And that kind of sprung the whole, like, you know, Hope coming into the mix as well. She was there. Yeah. But we had Kayla presumed, you know, Kayla, Marlena, and Kate all presumed.
Right. Yeah.
And what I was trying to just get to was, I feel like Mary Beth Evans just was spending a lot of time just like, okay, I'm just going to be kicking back in a hospital bed, you know, comatose on, you know, dual roles doing kind of the same thing where she was basically like, hospitalized near death. It's like that was just that was 2022 for her, I guess.
Yeah. Talk about an easy paycheck.
But it was funny how like both those characters kind of at the same time were just in, states of limbo, seeing heaven, seeing weird stuff on the other side. It was kind of funny that was a parallel kind of thing that was happening. But Sarah was, obviously still kind of in the hospital and obviously, but Evan is too. And Evan is frustrated and just very, trying to get information from Nardo about the case. For understand wants to know what's going on.
And Nardo is kind of keeping him at arm's length.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the DA, but he also has to get better. Like,
right.
I understand he's concerned and worried about Tamara, but
he has to heal.
Exactly.
Yeah, he can't do anything if he keeps on like purposely like trying to get out of bed and then falling out of bed. If anything, you're just aggravating that poor shoulder.
Yep.
You really gotta, come on. Nurse that wing back to health.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
But he is kind of, held at arm's length though by Nardo. Nardo doesn't he says, oh yeah, young eyewitnesses, but doesn't mention who they are. Yeah. Doesn't say that they got like an accurate account. He keeps it very minimal, the information that he's getting. And Evan calls him on it. He's just, you're blocking me. And then what was his Nardo's like, dude, I'm not blocking you or something like that. I know he called him dude at one point, and it just made me happy.
Yeah.
Inez, I love that man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But and right as though he's trying to like, get more information out of Nardo, but then the phone, he just stops talking because he gets some guests that show up at his door at the very, very end.
Yeah. And those guests are Dre and Hannah.
Yes.
And it was just like a sweet. I want to see where they're going to go with it because it almost seems like there's going to be some type of a triangle between Tamara, Dre, and Evan.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely setting up for that because, you've got Tam. He doesn't know, like, what, she's, the Puerto Rico thing, but God knows like what's happening to her at this point and that he can't do anything to, but on the other hand, this is his daughter who, he has a chance to, it's definitely teeing up to a triangle.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. But
a lot of soapy drama, but
a lot of soapy drama. Absolutely. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Was there anything else that we missed?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything and we covered just the one episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Our job.
So, but yeah, and folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We are recording it on February 4th. This will air on February 12th.
Yes.
So I hope that you guys, have fun, and thank you so much for watching. As always, we want to appreciate our fans. We want to thank you guys for tuning in, whether it's on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitch. Help us build that Twitch audience. Help us get followers over on Twitch. And don't forget to tune in for Pop Culture Time Machine, Book Beyond Reality, a lot of content for Suds and Squared Circle Media coming up in the future. And just stay tuned. So go to our YouTube channel, which is suds-media.com. Turn on the notifications bell after you subscribe and like the videos and help us grow. Help support our network. Send us a super chat, a super thanks, or a super sticker. You could do it as low as $1.99.
Yeah. And check out our merch. We've got, the Cuddle Buddies, just in time for Valentine's. Look at, he's got the little red sweater going, and all of the proceeds from that little guy will go towards Samantha's friends.
The dog one, the doggy Cuddle Buddy, not the bear.
The doggy Cuddle Buddy, yeah.
The doggy Cuddle Buddy and the doggy bandana, all those proceeds.
I couldn't tell, just did you're holding the bear up. I couldn't see him at first. You got the bear going. There we go. Yes. Yeah. Excellent. But definitely, check out the merch and check out, just to show some love and show some support, and for us, so we can keep on showing support for our awesome soap.
Absolutely. But folks, we are out of time. Kim, where can everybody find you?
So I'm Misfit8690 on Twitter and a little Misfit52 on YouTube as well as Instagram. So feel free to follow me there and we can chat soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
Awesome. And I am at Vinny Suds on both Facebook and Twitter. At Suds Media is our network Twitter account, which is normally where I am. Suds and Square Circle Media is also a page on Facebook, so go like that and follow that page as well. Suds and Square, it's let's see, Instagram and Threads is at Suds and Square Circle, TikTok and Twitch at Suds_media. Go follow both of those accounts. I am trying to grow the TikTok account by doing more lives, whether it's cooking or soap related or wrestling related. Just go there and follow us there. Send us gifts, help us grow there as well. But for everything Suds Media, go to suds-media.com. Brings you to our YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe to the network, turn on the notification bell, and send us a super, and you could win yourself a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. All right, so for Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week as we are Dockside at the Bay. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.